This was good. It's about people who live under the ground in the subways in New York, like way under, and they build homes down there. There's like whole communities. She actually came upon a home of somebody, and there was like some kind of makeshift table with a cloth and a book and a lamp. When I was first reading it and I described it to somebody, he was like, sure, it was a put-on. He was like, this is ridiculous, the mole people. And I was like, no, really, they're down there. Oh, how embarrassing. I haven't read most of these happening books. I don't read as much as I used to. I think I absorb much less quickly. And plus my way of thinking and absorbing things from the world has changed, like I think everybody's has. I'm much more kind of scattered in my attention, and I have to make more of an effort to get focused to read. And on top of that, I'm slow. I go out of my way to read what's good, but if something just pops into my attention span and it interests me for some reason, I don't have to think it's, oh, this is the best thing out there. I did read one story in this, Drowned by Gino Diaz. Oh, I read this, The Easter Parade by Richard Yates. It's touching, I remember it. I want to read this guy just because there's so much talk, but the talk about him puts me off. When people praise him, it's almost like, have you read Bologna? It's an aura, but you're supposed to read him. You're supposed to like him. He's big and important, and you read him, your big and important quotient goes up 10 points. I say it because he's dead. I'm sure he doesn't care. I read this too, years ago. Actually, I didn't like it so much, which I feel free to say that because it's like shooting spitballs at a tank. It was funny and charming, but it didn't have a whole lot of substance to me. But I know everybody else loves it, so who cares what I think? Maybe there's something somewhere else. When I was in college and I took a French course, we had to read The Little Prince in French. It actually caused me to start blubbering in class. It was speaking to me much more powerfully then because I was suffering from heartbreak. Charlotte's Web, so beautiful. Me and my husband actually read it out loud to each other when we were first getting to know each other. He did a great Templeton the Rat. I'm reading a book called Agathe, Marlene van Niekerk, and it's just extraordinary. It's one of the best things I've read in the last decade. It's about Afrikaans woman who is a farmer, and she adopts a little black girl who's been abused and abandoned. The woman has a desperate need of a child. She's childless, and the little girl obviously needs help, and she bonds with her in a very instinctive way. But it becomes twisted very quickly. The child goes from being a daughter to a servant, slowly, and incrementally and absolutely. And she has no place in the world except with this woman. It's extraordinary because it's about abuse and love equally and how they're very, very close. And it's almost worse than abuse straight up. And yet there's a purity to the feeling there at times. It's really complex. Don't cry. One of the characters says it to another one. A friend of mine thought it sounded sappy and overly emotional, and it's not how the line is delivered in the story. It's delivered, don't cry, okay? One of the older ones that's in here, it's now called An Old Virgin, was called A Dream of Men. I actually don't like it so much. It's not bad line by line. It's got some striking images in it, but I feel like mostly when people call my work turgid and dark, they're really just not being fair or accurate, but guilty is charged with that story. It's turgid. It's totally turgid. The one that got the most reaction, to my surprise, was Mirror Ball. I wasn't expecting that. I had a really hard time getting that one published, but it got commented on more than anything else in the reviews, and mostly positive, although I hear that some guy wrote a screed online about how awful it is and how outrageous it is that I was allowed to publish this travesty and how people are just letting me get by with this terrible story. I'm like, dude, not everybody thinks like you.